All right.
Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
Episode 35.
Episode 35 is here. I don't know if you can see the confetti just kicking around right now.
It's a big one. We've got a very special guest on this episode.
Yeah.
We're calling it the Working Housewives of the Toronto Living's Real Estate Podcast Show. We get into it with...
The one and only?
My wife. My Pookie Bear. You're gonna do an interview with us and kind of peel back the layers of a working relationship between a entrepreneur and a salaried person and kind of the dynamics that we use to get us to where we are today.
That's it.
Yeah. Last episode of the year.
Last episode of the year.
So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yep.
And we'll see you on the other side.
Welcome to the Toronto Living's Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savell.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate working together as a Toronto Living's team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
Episode 35.
We have a special episode today.
We do.
Yeah.
Is it special because it's the last one of the season?
Oh, yeah. Well, special for many other reasons, too.
We do have the golden confetti cannons here, which can only mean one thing.
Yep.
We have a guest.
We have a special guest.
A very special guest.
Very special guest.
Presenting to our listeners, our viewers, our interested parties around the world, the real working housewives of Toronto Living. This episode, we will be interviewing myself and my wife. Come on in. Where's my wonderful girl? Can she be any cuter? Everybody, this is my wife, Adriana S.
Welcome, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm going to get a background clap.
The crowd goes wild. Well,
all right.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we kind of teased and joked about it for a while, but we often talk about the podcast after we record it. And I said, why don't you just come on, let's do the damn thing.
Yep.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are making it a reality.
You're a brave soul today.
You have nothing to worry about. You got Shark and Swan in your corner.
Yeah.
We got the Pookie Bear here. Adriana, the Pookie Bear. Not to get into your questions a little too early, but let's keep it consistent.
Yeah. Okay.
How was your week and what did you eat?
Week was good.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't do much. I ate in. No, I didn't. I ate out all week. I ate Uber Eats all week as well.
By the way, can I just say this is one of my favorite parts of the episode?
Really?
Yeah?
Yes.
Where was your week? How'd you eat?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
News you can use too,
Yeah.
but where you guys eat during the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I know him, but knowing
Exploring where Joey went.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you where I ate this week. Her kitchen.
Oh,
God.
cooking.
We
Home
didn't-
cooking.
Always.
Yeah.
One of the top chef. Top chef Canada.
That doesn't surprise me. What did you say you made that was so intense when we were talking about the budget episode? That was like
your your fried the spinach powder you make.
the powder.
The dried out
You
spinach.
dry out spinach.
Oh, the
and
dehydrated.
Dehydrated.
anybody who goes through that process, I already have immense respect.
Honestly, it's because
Go a little bit closer.
when I buy spinach, it just wilts and it honestly disgusts me. So I'm just like, how do you prolong it a bit more than like 3 days after you buy it?
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay.
Adriana, pro tip number 1. Dehydrate your spinach if you want it to last more than 3 days.
It's like you get those box spinaches, you're buying organic, so it even lasts shorter
We're buying organic in this economy?
in this economy.
We need to have a talk off air because we should not be buying organic. I am fine with the pesticide covered spinach. It's done me just well.
Until you hit a certain age and you're just like, oh, I feel so funny.
Maybe that's where the acid reflux comes from. All the pesticides over the years. No, she cooks very well. Last night we had lamb.
Yes. He loves lamb.
I love lamb, yeah.
Oh, do you?
I love lamb.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I learned something new about you.
Yeah,
I swear to
got her
God.
on the air. She also does this really good. Your mom makes the hummus for us.
Yeah, my mom loves making homemade hummus. Like she will buy, I guess, the dried chickpeas, and she's still in the hunt for the unshelled one or the unskinned ones because you have to deshell them or unskin them before. But yeah, sorry, go
Even
ahead.
that's even more of an intense process.
Oh, yeah. These people are legit. Yeah,
unskinning peas or chickpeas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that entails. What do you
Come to our house.
melt? Yeah.
What else do we have this week? Oh, she did. You mean the cabbage, the coleslaw?
Oh, coleslaw, yeah.
Yeah.
Coleslaw? Yeah. Home cooking.
Home cooking.
It's Christmas time. I support
Totally.
it. Yeah.
Totally.
It's also very expensive to eat out these days.
Yeah.
It's true.
I didn't really go out much to eat. I went to Blue Rodeo. I saw Blue Rodeo in concert at Massey Hall.
Did you?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I like Blue Rodeo. Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this.
What are your thoughts on Blue Rodeo?
I know the one song from Blue Rodeo.
Which one?
Wait a minute. I might screw this up.
Please.
Is it Blue Rodeo?
You sing it. Sing it for him.
We are lost together. Way, yeah.
No, not that one.
Does that no? Doesn't spark your memory?
Isn't Blue Rodeo cowbell?
Cowbell?
Yeah,
no.
more cowbell. Maybe.
No, that's
Blue.
yeah, not
Oyster-
Blue Rodeo. Yeah, something like
Oyster
that.
Cult,
Yeah.
something like
And
Yeah.
no, not Blue Rodeo. Blue Rodeo is Canadian, like from Toronto.
No, I know. Okay, I'm just not piecing the music and the band together.
Yeah.
in my head.
I'm surprised my rendition didn't really spark the memory, but
Tell Joey what the average age was.
75.
Oh,
I was
that
the youngest by
makes
like
so much sense.
40 years. Yeah,
Young buck
so-
in the crowd.
yeah. We were there. My buddy Anth took me to the concert. So we saw them at the Kitabala in Muskoka.
Yeah.
And it's like a rite of passage. Every year they play the Kitabala. And when we were growing up there in our younger days, we used to always go to watch Blue Rodeo. And somehow we became obsessed with that last song that I just sang you. And to be honest, through the whole concert, that's the only song I knew. But let me tell you, when it came on,
It's all
sing it loud, sing it proud. How was your week? Where did you eat?
Yeah, let's hear it.
My week was good. I'm trying to think this past week.
Did you go out at all? Like for dinner?
No, we didn't do any dinners.
Oh, you went to Sunday. You had brunch with the girls.
Yeah,
The other housewives of Toronto Livings. Not my housewives. The crew.
Yeah, last weekend we went for brunch. We went to Moretti's. I
Moretti,
went with
yeah.
my
Moretti? Oh,
Yeah.
I actually saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, Moretti's is fantastic. So I went with my close girlfriends.
Yeah.
We had brunch there, which was really good. I had some French toast.
Apparently
which
that
was
French toast
delicious.
is next level.
Really, eh?
It is really, really good. However, I did have the best French toast of my entire life when we were in Portugal.
Oh, this was insane. I would fly back to Portugal for this French toast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was our hotel, I guess, had a Michelin star restaurant,
A Michelin recommended restaurant.
Michelin recommended restaurant downstairs, and their breakfast was included.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, this French toast, I saw someone else order it. I'm like, oh, I never really order French toast. But I'm like, when you're at a restaurant, order something you don't typically make at home.
When in Portugal, order the French toast.
Yeah, and I had it,
Makes
and
sense.
oh my gosh, Joey, it was like the best breakfast I've ever had.
Remember the name of that hotel?
Lagos Avenida or something?
Avenida, I think. Yeah, it was in the Algarve.
Avenida.
Yeah.
You could order a lamb chop in the morning for breakfast.
Oh, really?
It was
like
ins-
lamb and egg?
No, like
Just straight
just
up,
a lamb
you get a lamb
shank. You
chop.
yeah, that was the craziest, I think, restaurant in a hotel I've ever been to in terms of the options you can get included. I was like, and it was like really, really good.
Yeah, like we went there for dinner.
Dinner was
one
good.
of the nights,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But the breakfast, and again, included with our hotel stay,
Yeah.
was fantastic.
Was it something specific that they did to the French toast? Or was it just like a really well-made
I think it was just really well made. It was
Very
so
fluffy.
fluffy.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm like, I can just like, and it wasn't like over cinnamony either. So it was just like, it was so balanced, so
Balanced,
fluffy.
yeah.
And then like when you go to like any fancy restaurant, like the portions are also a lot smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the perfect amount like, without feeling like you've overindulged.
Like you're going to go to sleep afterwards?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We did go to sleep after. Because we're on vacation.
No, we actually went on that boat ride, which
yeah.
I thought he was going to throw up on because he had his head down. But I asked him after. It was because he had his hat
And
on.
a hat. She thought I was like nervous. I'm like, no, my hat's gonna fly off. We went on a speedboat. Everything's got to be extreme.
Oh, yeah. You got to like tape that thing.
You're basically sitting on like a horse's saddle. There's
Front
like
row.
Front row. She made, yeah.
you like straddle the thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you were like holding something like
Like
this.
a horse.
Oh, so you don't fly
You
out.
look like that,
Exactly.
yeah. And this guy is just bolting across the Algarve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Adrenaline. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think we can put that segment to rest.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I went anywhere. Not this week, but last week, I went with my colleagues for our holiday lunch. We went to Planta. And I'm not a vegetarian, vegan person. I have no interest. I do enjoy my dairy. I do enjoy my meat. And it's a vegetarian or vegan restaurant. I'm not sure, but the food was fantastic.
Planta, I feel like I've been to Planta like
Queen
way
Street.
back when. Yeah, Queen Street.
Yeah, that's the location we went to on Queen Street. Like we had sushi and then I had like a truffle fried rice. It was so delicious.
Right.
So highly, highly recommended as well.
Yeah.
We went to that other vegan place on Jones, was it? No.
With my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what, but that was also
That was
delicious.
really good. I got to get the name of that. Do a shout out in a
it was
future
an
episode.
Italian, vegan or vegetarian.
It was vegan.
Vegan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegan place. Yeah. I've been to a couple. So Molly was a vegetarian for like a
Was
few
she?
years. Yeah. Yeah. She had just one day she was just like, I'm going to become a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And then she just flipped the switch. She did it for, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 2 or 3 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I fed her the first piece of bacon when she went.
Oh my gosh.
Was it at Mars Diner?
It's home cooking. Home cooking.
We got to remember that show note for when we get the other working.
Yeah.
Not what do I call it? Working wives of Toronto living. Because you guys aren't housewives. You guys are hustling out there.
We are hustling out there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into news you can use, and then we'll.
So I'll switch it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Kick things off. I'm just going to move Age's mic a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit closer. Yeah. If you can pull the actual thing a little bit closer. Yeah.
Is
There we
that
go.
good?
That works.
Okay,
I
perfect.
think you're our fourth guest, so we don't have everything figured out yet.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Roll with the punches. News you can use.
News you can use.
Do you want to do the news you can
Yeah.
use voice? How do you feel about that? Or do you want to do the sound effects after?
Oh no, Joey does the sound effects amazingly.
No, Joey does the voice. I'm the sound effects for news you can use.
We'll
Let us do our thing.
I'll let you guys do your
All
thing.
right.
You guys are the pros.
Hit him, Joey.
News you can use.
Do 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 do. Want to give it a try?
No.
Pass. All right. Will
I'm
not
a
be-
little stage fright.
This will not be Adriana's news you can use. All good. Fixed rates
Yeah.
taking a tumble,
They are taking a tumble.
which is good news for us because we're on variable, and we hope that brings down the variable rate when they have the next rate hike announcement. Yeah, a lot of I got a couple emails from realtors this week, not realtors, mortgage brokers.
Yeah.
letting us know that the rates are coming down, and some are even teasing in the mid 4s.
If that would be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's coming.
Yeah.
It's on its way down though.
Yeah. So what happened was the feds down there, they kind of announced that they're going to be doing some rate cuts in the year ahead. And our bond rate up here, our Canadian bond rate dropped significantly, like right after the announcement.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy how closely tied we are to what they say, how it affects us.
Yeah.
But yeah, some welcoming news. Now, right after that announcement, when everyone got super excited, the central banks came out and said, hey, don't get too excited here.
Yeah.
We see what you're doing with your bonds over there. Just hold your ponies a little bit.
Yep.
So interesting year ahead for mortgage rates. I think that will continue to be the narrative that kind of directs our market and determines our success.
Yeah.
Can I point something out?
Yeah, please.
Because we had this conversation the other evening over dinner, and I said, should we consider going fixed?
Yeah.
Because we're on a variable right now. And you brought up an interesting point. You were saying you think going forward, a lot of people are not going to want to take the risk because they've been burned so badly with the variable and go something with a lot more predictability with a fixed rate.
I did say that. That did sound really smart on my behalf.
So I was like, let me bring this up.
Thank you for bringing that up, my wife. Yeah, so what I was saying was like, I think the psychology of people is going to be changed significantly. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if the majority of people went fixed for the next like 10, 15 years.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Actually, I totally agree with that. It's true because this is the first time in a long time that people have really been burned on variable. Because for the longest time, the narrative was variable always comes out ahead.
For like 40 plus years, that was the case.
It was like, and then everybody was like, yeah, no, it's cheap already. It's cheaper than fixed, and I'm going to come out ahead. Like, absolutely.
It was free money for everyone.
Yeah.
Cheap money. Nothing's free in life, as I learned when I agreed to marry you. I was talking about the wedding, not you.
Or the cost of those sparklers, or not sparklers.
Oh, the cannons? There's
We
always
haven't
a
even
budget
brought
for
this up
confetti
yet.
cannons. Yeah, no, we'll do it when we get to the proper
Okay.
transition time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's always a budget for confetti cannons.
Sorry.
All right, Uber. Uber wins round 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
People in Toronto are outraged.
Yeah.
I.e. me.
I didn't think this would go anywhere.
I see this is a 4D chess game. This is what I see happening here. So Uber said that they're going to put an injunction to Olivia Child's decision to put a cap, not a reduction, just a cap, which I thought was very reasonable. And so they came to council. Council was this week.
Council was this week. Yeah, finished on Friday. On Thursday, it went till I think 10 p.m.
Yeah, working overtime. About time. Went to council and they said, you know what, we're not gonna put a cap at the start of 2024. We're gonna reconvene in 2024, March 2024.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a little bit more data and a little bit more points ready to go before we implement any type of caps or changes to what you guys are doing. And I think that they knew they would probably lose in court because it was kind of a shocker the way it was announced.
Yeah.
And they're just taking a step back and saying, okay, let's properly present our case and hopefully, reach some middle ground before then, or at least get that negotiating needle moving a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my stance on it.
Yeah. Hopefully, some good comes from it. This seems like I don't know. I don't see any good coming from this whole fight that's happening right now.
What happens to the ground when elephants fight?
Grass. The grass suffers.
The grass suffers. Someone used that on me this week.
Did they?
Yeah, they heard the podcast. Jason. He's like, when elephants fight. I'm like, you listened to the episode last week. Good on ya. All right, you want to get into some naming conventions?
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Let's preface it with us as humans don't like change.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And when you change things like the Sky Dome to the Rogers Center,
ACC
to Scotia Bank Arena, Budweiser stage to I don't even know what the heck it's called.
No, it was the Molson Amphitheater.
It was Molson, yeah.
And I love amphitheater.
Yeah.
And now it's like the Budweiser stage.
Yeah.
Should be the Corona Corral. Joey's Barrel of Technology Stadium.
How much easy to rhyme that one.
Yeah. Well, wait till we get our sponsorship rights. The Toronto Living's Real Estate Podcast Show Stadium Arena. Hey? How would you like that? Well, we're getting into naming because as you've heard this week, there's going to be a few things changing.
Yeah. So Dundas Square, it is approved that they are changing the name of Dundas Square.
They are.
I don't know why this is okay. I don't know why this is a thing. It's fine if it needs to be changed, but it costs money to change things.
I see your point.
And that's where my beef lies.
I see your point.
Before this whole conversation, so if sorry, let me
back up.
Yeah, let me back up.
Beep.
It's officially approved.
Yeah.
And I think they're also pushing the idea that we're going to change the street name Dundas right across the board, along with anything that has Dundas associated with it.
I think there was also the 2 subway stations, so Dundas and then Dundas West. I think they did say they weren't going to go forward with the renaming the convention of Dundas because of the gigantic cost of it.
Do you want to say how much that was?
So
yeah, in your show notes.
Yeah, 11
to 12, almost 13 million.
Almost 13 million it would cost to do so.
I don't know. I get the sentiment, but I don't get the logic behind.
Especially because there's such a massive deficit right now.
That's where the issue is, right? It's like,
did you just have your first word mistake?
Oh my gosh.
Did you? It. Well, we do it all the time on the show.
Yeah.
So
no. Yeah.
I think it's the mic. I don't think it's us.
This feels like a moment to pop your face.
Welcome. You're officially a proper guest on the show. Yeah, they are in a deficit.
Yes.
Yeah, and they should probably not be spending $12.7 million.
No. Yeah, that's where my big beef is, and also like the fact that I didn't know Henry Dundas's first name until this was even brought up in conversation.
I feel like 99% of the city did not know that, or the history of Henry Dundas.
It seems like an odd place to plant your flag at this point in time.
Yeah.
Toronto Metropolitan University is willing to front the entire bill, which, by the way, renaming Dundas Square is going to be $1.7 million. So it's still not cheap to do so. Yeah. They're willing to front the entire bill if it's named after the university.
Oh, I don't like that. That sounds sticky. I'll come up with $12 million. The Mark and Joey Street, Mark, Joey, and Adriana Avenue. I'll find $12 million if that's what it's going to come down to.
And I think they also were going to front the bill to rename Dundas Station too.
Oh, was it?
Is that yeah?
I thought it was the TTC that was supposed to front that.
Well, I think TMU, which was formerly Ryerson, they were saying if it was going to be named after, and I think maybe seeking private money could be a route.
Yeah.
You go to a lot of cities where you see that now, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
I guess I would be okay if it doesn't come from our pocketbooks, but
that's where I'm like, the only plus in this is that it's not. Yeah.
I'm just worried like we're going to have Belfibe Avenue.
Yeah.
And like.
Yeah. And there's also conflict of interest.
Yeah.
That comes up in conversation where you're just like, you want to try and keep it as even of a playing field as possible. But at the same time, is it worth the taxpayers inheriting it? And that's this, I guess, the dilemma where obviously everything that's happened in the world, it's, do we want to make this wrong right? But also at a large cost.
That's my big problem is, cost aside, it's not going to change anything. Like, people are still going to behave in unacceptable ways, and like, it's not going to erase racism. I hate to say it. It's a good step. I'm all for that, but it's not erasing racism.
I think, yeah. And I'm in the boat of like, okay, sure. If we want to do this for the better of, I guess, the community or the GTAs, okay. But like, why don't we revisit this conversation when we're not in the position that we're in like probably the worst financial state we've been in whatever.
Yeah, a lot of homelessness out there.
Yeah.
They can use 12 million.
Yeah.
Like, there's other ways we could, but that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Just a little side note, Rob Ford is getting a stadium named after him.
What?
Yeah. Like, here we are changing the name of Young Dundas Square, and also in this week's news you can use, Rob Ford is getting a stadium named after him.
What stadium?
Like what is it? It's a football stadium.
Yeah, it's a football stadium out in Etobicoke. I think one of the local councils put a motion forward about it.
Yeah. I think, really? In the same week? Like, well, here we are spending all this money to change something that a person who's done arguably considerably bad things, and I don't know. It's a weird time to be alive. All right, I think we can wrap up news. I don't have much more to say.
This is a good moment.
Yeah, without ruffling feathers. So, shall we do transition time?
I think so.
Milady, I present to you the golden cannon of love. No, don't point that at your face. Now, Joseph J. Joey.
Oh my God.
If you want to grab the second cannon of love, by the power invested in me, I give you both permission.
Where do we do
So
it?
you're gonna one way, one the other, and you're gonna put it towards the camera.
All right. Ready?
3, 2,
2,
1. Whoa!
Oh my gosh.
Holy crow!
Okay, it worked.
Holy crow!
Was this worth the $22?
That was so worth the $22. Did yours blow?
Mine might. Yeah. Did yours go?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was loud.
Did we hit it? We hit it. Must have hit it exactly at the same time.
I think
It's
so.
like
insane.
one bang.
Marky's here. What's up, Marky? We got the neighbors out.
Look, it has like a little.
A little left? Yeah, mine too. I got 2 pieces left.
What do you?
It's like, I don't know what that is.
No, that's like inside a gun and it has the barrel, the bullet tracing.
Oh my God. Good
That
thing you
is
didn't point
in-
at your face, man.
So this is crazy. So shout out Teal Balloons, our neighbors a few doors down. So I was going to buy 3 of these, but it was $33.
Yeah.
And I knew she would kill me if I spent $41 plus tax, or tax included, on a cannon with confetti. But I kind of wish I did. That was incredible.
See if they can get you like a bulk deal.
She said if I go back, I'll get a discount.
Okay, good.
I'm going back after this episode. That was amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
we would have shattered glass. I think if we had 3.
My ears are hurting. We also definitely blew news you can use out of the water with that. So I don't even remember what we were talking about. Yeah, which is a perfect time to get in. Oh, it's on my laptop.
Yeah, I know the same thing. I think I'll move my mouse around.
All right. Transition time.
Yeah, transition time.
So what we wanted to do in this episode was kind of have a conversation between you and I, where our lovely host, Joseph J. Joey, that's your name.
Joseph J. Joey.
Joseph J. Joey, Triple J, will be asking us questions of what it's like married to a realtor. Down? You game for that?
I'm ready to go.
All right. Joseph J. Joey.
Okay.
Let us have it.
Guys, I'm so pumped for this episode.
Are you?
Yeah. This is it's gonna
Should we
be
hold hands?
When we saw the questions, we were like, oh my gosh.
These were good questions.
They were so good.
I asked him if AI generated them. He's like,
ChatGPT Joey.
ChatGPT Joey.
All right, so I think it's appropriate. We got to talk about how you guys met, or the story of how you guys met.
Hold on. Did you guys do your transition time?
Oh, we didn't do our transition time.
Oh,
song.
I thought the confetti was the transition time.
Whatever. You guys are
I'm
pros.
good with that. That was a fantastic
That was-
transition time.
Yeah,
This room is covered in confetti.
that was explosive.
That was explosive.
that hit me in the chest. When you say it.
I got to see the play back. There's even confetti on the camera.
Yeah, it's still the thing. I didn't like it.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's
Thank you for pointing that out.
No problem.
She's my eyes and ears. And
I love
we'll get into it.
Oh
in a
yeah,
bit.
yeah, I love it. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with how you guys met, how it started. Walk me through the initial.
The courting, as one would say.
Courting?
The courting. We kind of told you the story drunk at McDonald's last week, but I don't know if we got all the details right. We'll probably give them the Coles notes.
Yeah. I can give you the Colts notes.
Yeah, go for it.
And see if the story matches up to our McDonald's meal that evening.
Story time.
So we met through mutual friends. One of my best friends, one of his best friends.
He wasn't my best friend.
He was.
It was an acquaintance.
Okay. One of his very, very good friends, who actually gave the toast at our wedding.
Yeah.
They played Cupid. They introduced us, and we met the first time at a mutual friend's birthday at Music Nightclub, our younger days. So we met at a mutual friend's birthday. We went on, I won't give you all of the details, but
You can embarrass me. I know where you're going with this.
No, it's not an embarrassment.
Oh, is there something that
Keeping it sacred.
Okay. keep the relationship sacred. I'm gonna butcher it second you're done. So.
We ended up going on 4 double dates, and then after that, Mark didn't finally ask me for my phone number.
Okay.
Yeah, it took my time.
Yeah, and from there we went on our first one-on-one date. We went for sushi at a place that we recently found out is no longer there,
Yeah, cool.
which was really sad. It was on Adelaide.
Adelaide, yeah.
Yeah,
Adelaide and Spadina.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was called?
Don't.
It was so good though.
So Ryan and Brenda are Michelin star friends.
Yeah.
They suggested this. They took me there for a few times and I didn't really know the food scene that well.
Yeah.
And I was like so impressed. So I had to impress her. I'm like, I know where I'm taking you, girl. And it worked.
It worked. It definitely worked. So we went on our first date.
Yeah.
Like a one-on-one, I guess like one-on-one date between the two of us there. And then we went on a bunch more dates after that. And Mark very gentleman-esque asked me to be his girlfriend at another dinner at a restaurant. Unfortunately, that is no longer there.
Oh man, it's closing down
We
restaurants.
shut him
left, right,
down.
and center.
That's what we do. Campagnolo.
But I think it's because of the real estate market.
No, Campagnolo, Craig opened up another restaurant.
Yes. So that was a restaurant. Craig Harding had opened that up with Rob Rossi at the time.
I think, yeah.
And we went there every anniversary, our dating anniversary.
Yeah. Which was also their restaurant anniversary.
Which was their restaurant anniversary as well.
They opened November 28th.
Yeah.
We started dating November 28th.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Mark proposed, he actually proposed there as well.
On
Yeah.
the 28th.
Oh,
Just so it keeps it simple in my mind. I have to
Don't
remember.
mix up the dates.
And I was like, I'm so slick. I've got everything locked together. Lo and behold, we have 4 wedding dates because of COVID. So that threw all that. But we'll get into that in a bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a Colts Note version.
Yeah.
He definitely courted in a very, like, Mark was one of those people, I remember first meeting him and conversation flowed so easily. And it wasn't necessarily superficial. It wasn't surface level, which was also very refreshing.
I'm deep.
You're very deep.
I'm deep.
So it was good. We could talk about both, not work things, but like like things I guess a 20-year-old would talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
We did have some pretty deep conversations.
Yeah.
pretty
So
quickly.
which was really nice to be able to do and be able to connect with someone on a level where I can kind of talk about what he does for a living and what I kind of do or the realm that I'm in, which was really nice because at the same time, when you're going on your first date, you're not necessarily thinking about, am I going to marry this person? But like over time, you realize you're like, okay, wow, like this is something that will be not just sustainable, but you can find a partner that you can bounce things off of. You can pick their brain about how you would handle a situation. So that was that was one of the big signs I really thought.
What I hear you saying is I gave you a foundation to build your house on.
Yes, absolutely. Our house.
Of course, our house.
Our house.
Not my house. Can I say how the first night went at music? And I respected this about you. I don't say
Sure.
it. Okay. So my version of the story is Alessandro Z.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. He's the one who's like, hey, one of my wife's friends single. I was single at the time. He's like, go look at her.
They weren't married yet, actually.
They were married, yeah. So he shows me a picture of her. I'm like, yeah, hot, but not in my league. Next, he's like, well, she's a nice girl. Like, she's actually really sensible. She's like, he actually said, I'll never forget this. You're very responsible with your money. was something that stuck out to him. He's like, she's actually really I said, that's an odd thing to like, she's beautiful. How do you pick that out of it? But whatever, man. I just went with it. And then my only qualifying question to him was, does she live in Woodbridge? And he's like, what does that matter? I'm like, it's a hard no if she does. I know the type. She's out of my league. And if she's in Woodbridge, it's just going to make my life so difficult. Not interested. And he's like, actually, she lives downtown. I'm like, downtown Toronto, like not downtown Stouffville or something like that. He's like, no, she lives like right downtown, like on the lake type thing. And that intrigued me. I was like, okay, a pretty girl, she's got her affairs in order, and she lives in the city. I'll shoot my shot.
Yeah.
So I went to music with our friend Marky, who's never on camera and always bouncing around here. And I showed him a picture of who I'm going to meet. I'm like, I'm going to meet this girl tonight. He's like, okay, that won't last long. I was like, yeah, I appreciate the vote of confidence. So she came a little bit later in the night. We were kind of in a booth with everyone there. All of her friends were there, and she looked gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And I'm like, oh, I really got no shot tonight. But I'm like, whatever, man, confidence. Just go in there, just talk to her, see what she's about. So I was like, how's it going? She's like, hi, I'm Adriana. Mark, nice to meet you. I'm like, can I get you a drink? No. No, you just say yes. Like, don't even drink it. I'm like, no, you sure? Like, it's please allow me to. She's like, I'm not thirsty. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I don't have a shot. I'm going to go over there. And I'm like, you know what? Because you always got to bounce back. You can't accept rejection. So I was like, you know what? This place is a little loud. I'd like to get to know you a bit more. Why don't we grab a bite sometime? Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, but that was it. That's what
she's like. No, she played it cool. She's like, all right. Yeah, we could do that. We'll see. And I think you went to Europe shortly after that.
I think.
I joked that you were on a world tour.
Oh, yeah.
Because like 2 weeks later, I went to my friend Alessandro and I'm like, yo, where is she? She's like, she's in Europe. I'm like, of course, she's on a world tour, this girl. This is not my league. This is not my level. But we ended up getting together later in the summer and then kind of things progressed. And then, November's where it took off. So that's our story.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, love it. That was, so the second half of that is the McDonald's version that I heard.
Yeah. That was a little bit more brash. We won't need to repeat that on this podcast, on this professional podcast, but that's essentially how we met. Would you say that's a fair representation?
Totally fair.
Good.
So one thing that I do, I guess, admire about you guys is that you guys have a really good way of communicating your work lives and personal lives. Like you do a really good job of like balancing that between each other.
Thank you.
So main part of this podcast is talking about, obviously, what is it like to be partnered up with a realtor and what that lifestyle is like. This is for my own educational purposes as well.
We're priming you in Molly. What to expect.
Yeah.
Let's kind of dive into how you find it to be with, obviously, realtors have the weirdest schedules. They have, everything is always upside down.
Yeah.
Thrive in chaos kind of thing.
Before you answer that, I just want to say one thing. The partner you pick means everything. Finding someone who understands what you do will determine anything she says after this. Because if she couldn't understand what I do, none of this would work.
Right.
And I can tell you, I've had relationships in the past where that was a big sticking point. That was the first thing that two things really impressed me off the hop. Her work ethic, because she works like insane herself, and her ability to be flexible with my work schedule. And if one of those two things wasn't there, I don't think we'd be here today.
Right.
I think it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So the floor is yours. My love.
Sorry.
So let's start.
What's it like with my schedule?
What's it like?
How do you deal with my bullshit?
Would that be bleeped out?
No, we don't edit on this podcast. There's no budget for that yet.
I think the biggest thing is, like Mark said, I think you just have to be flexible, but also understanding of the nature of the work. I think with not just being a realtor, but any entrepreneur, there has to be a level of understanding and flexibility. That is, I think, just the nature of both of your guys' business. That is your baby. That's your bread and butter. And to be able to not understand it, that's totally fine. And some people don't want that lifestyle, don't want that unpredictability. I get that. And that's totally understandable. But I think to be in a relationship with a realtor, you have to understand, okay, some of your evenings won't be the two of you. There might be last minute changes, either a showing, there might be offers, same thing with the weekends. Like there's going to be things where you're going to have to sacrifice those moments, where instead of having a quote unquote a 9 to 5, where you know you're going to be home by a certain time, you'll have dinner together. I think just remaining flexible and understanding and not taking things, we joke about this, like to a T, I think is important. And just reminding yourself that the dial is going to be moving throughout the day and throughout the evening. Same thing on vacation. Mark has had to pull out his laptop, has to take calls. He might disappear for a few hours, but he's either getting back to clients. And I think that speaks to his dedication as well as your dedication when you guys go away, where it doesn't stop.
No.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing also that I think people don't see with you guys as well as other entrepreneurs. The level of dedication and hours that you guys put into it is next level. Because again, this is your livelihood.
Our livelihood.
Our livelihood.
And
that's the thing now more so than ever, where you have to say, okay, what you're doing is for the betterment of our future and our lives and us growing, right?
And that's what's important. One thing that she said that's I always keep in mind is if you're cool with me working these hours, I'm going to do what I can to make your life better, right? Like the fact that you're so flexible and understanding, I'll always try to give you that little bit more when we do have the time together. I'll try to, book the nicer hotel or go to the nicer restaurant or whatever we can, because I know our time's limited when we're together. So let's make the most of it. Right.
And I have to say, Mark has done, especially since like we've gotten married, he has done a pretty stand-up job in like making sure he's home by a certain time every night, unless again there's like offers or if he has to do a showing. Like you have to be understanding.
There's those crunch time things that you just
absolutely
can't.
Absolutely.
But I would say like since we've lived together, this has been a good transition for me, because if I don't have a stop point, I won't stop. I love working. Just love it. I can stay in my office for 12, 14 hours. I don't care. I like it. Having Adriana in my life and having a family or starting like, being together forces me to be like, it's important to take a break, to come home at 6. And it's probably really good for my health to like put borders and like boundaries on things. They're very loose boundaries. I think I could do better at cutting back work time and spending a little bit more family time. We like through COVID, we really try to keep the weekends open for each other and like at least give us that to be together. So like I was nervous, like I was always nervous if I have a wife or a girlfriend or whatever, is my business going to sacrifice? Am I going to lose my drive and my focus? And you kind of have a question that relates to that. Am I still as hungry as I was 20 years ago? I think yes, but I'm more efficient in my time because I don't have 12 hours to get everything done. I maybe have 6. So don't waste time on Instagram and Twitter. Like just do your job for what you got to do and be very efficient. And then that allows us to have our nights, evenings, weekends together, or maybe start a little bit later so we could have a breakfast together, come home for lunch, or find ways to make it work. And I think the best analogy I could think of is if a tree is not challenged, it's going to tip over as soon as the wind blows. But when you have a bit of swing with that tree gets stronger. We do it with our fig fiddles. She moves the fig fiddles to replicate what the wind would be outside, so the trunk gets stronger. And we got some strong fig fiddles.
Granted, he almost had a heart attack last night when I did it.
She was rocking and rolling that thing. I'm like, it's 4 years in the making. You be careful. Anyhow, you got to have that sway and that flexibility. I think that's super crucial, important. And the one time she proved that it was your 29th birthday. I was doing a deal with. I'm not gonna tell you who I was doing a deal. I'll tell you after, but. It was a very big deal monetary wise, and they're very important clients to me. And it was crucial that I got this job done. And it was in one of the crazy times of the market, so we were losing quite a bit. We were at Miku.
Okay.
And it was her birthday, and I had just given her a present or something like that. And I'm like, I gotta deal with this. And I had to go out, get my laptop and work in the lobby until the thing was done. Yeah. And she did it with a smile on her birthday.
Right.
When we had dedicated the time, we'd gone into a restaurant, and here I am with my bulky laptop trying to finish this deal off. Put it through. We got the deal. You got your birthday. We got to eat. Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things you just have to be, it's not a personal, like, I don't want to spend time with you or make you a priority, but to be able to not just have the life we have, but it's also your guys' reputation, like how your clients view you, the level of dedication. Like, I think you can take, if you're understanding enough and you love your partner enough, I think you can see past that. And like, obviously there's going to be moments where you might be a bit annoyed, but I think just putting that in the back seat and just saying, okay, this has to get done. If I had a deadline that I needed to meet for work, like I wouldn't expect Mark to just be like, no, you should be stopping, like put that down. Like you have to have that moving target a little bit and just be understanding, even though it's a birthday, an anniversary, whatever the case may be.
Did you guys ever, like, was it ever a struggle at the beginning, or was it always kind of smooth? Because you were in the midst of your career at that point, right? You're what, like 7 years in or something?
Probably something like that.
Yeah. Was it ever a sticking point?
No. I don't think so.
No, that's...
No. And I think that would have been, we wouldn't have taken it much further if I saw that being a potential problem. Because like I said, there was previous relationships where that kept coming up, like you're never around, you're always working. And I would always say like, yeah, I'm trying to build something here. And I didn't need to say it to her. She understood that right from the hop, that he's doing this for us. So let him do his thing and we'll make it work.
Yeah.
So it was never a thing. I think that's one of those crucial like deciding factors. You have to know right off the hop. If your partner doesn't see things that way yet, and maybe not everyone, I don't expect everyone to be as understanding as you. It might take some time to get there where it's like, and showing your partner like, no, look, when I do have the time with you, this is what I do. I think that will help them see the whole big picture of what this is all about.
Yeah, makes a lot. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think communication too, like if you're not happy about something or something has annoyed you or you're frustrated about something, just communicate that. I think with everything, like I tell him all the time, like we need to communicate about anything, either if it's what is our schedule going to be like tomorrow, so we have an understanding of what to expect, just having that laid out, because sometimes it's just not knowing, or not knowing he's working on a deal or whatever the case may be, just being able to communicate that information to each other.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the best hacks we did was share the calendar.
Oh, that is a good idea.
Yes. It is the best thing to have a shared calendar.
If it's in the calendar, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no guessing. Yeah. It's just like, this is what I'm doing at this point.
Yeah. And she'll put like 2-3 weeks out if we have an event, and then I could just work from that. Where if I have a client, like I know I'm not available, and we avoid, I think, a lot of conflict by having that shared calendar.
Yeah. Shared calendar is amazing. Having it on either your Gmail, having it on your phone. Like we did that. We started it initially when we were wedding planning. And then when we got married, you changed it to Our Life as One.
What was it called before, a calendar?
Wedding? I don't know. Maybe.
It's called Wedding, and then it became Our Life as One.
Yeah, he changed it to that. But it does, like, the uncertainty or conflict. Again, it's another form of communication that's written down that's not talked about, but...
Super efficient.
Yeah.
Just see it, and vice versa. When things change, like it's really good where I'm at work and I'll see a notification that this is coming up, and then boom, I'm like, okay, I don't even have to think about that. It's there.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, makes sense.
Simple fix, but a very effective one, I would say.
100%.
Yeah.
So okay, we've covered a lot of the questions I was going to end up asking. But like, okay, let's do this. Best thing and worst thing about, I guess, about having this like kind of all over the place lifestyle, or being married to somebody with having that kind of crazy schedule. And
I think one of the biggest attributes, I would say, versus I wouldn't say best, so I'll say after, but one of the best attributes would be being able to have kind of like your pulse to the finger by just asking your partner, what's going on in the market? And then when we are house hunting or when we're doing, he kind of knows the ins and outs of what to look for. Just having that level of expertise, literally by me like saying, hey, like, look, type of thing.
And I'd be like, don't even, like, I know that's bad, just avoid it. Or like, hey, okay, we could look at that.
Yeah. It's just having like, it's like like anyone you date, like if you're dating someone in the banking industry, like them having that knowledge and expertise in that field on the financial side, just being able to do that. And like for him, like that he's always talked about like his properties that he's been able to acquire is his also retirement, and me also having a different understanding now and perspective of all of that, because I have a job where I have a pension. So our retirement plans are very different. But at the same time, I think they also offer best of both worlds, because one day when many years from now, when I have the privilege of retiring, I will have that where Mark will then have the properties to supplement our life once we're able to take that step, saying, okay, we're going to eat. Granted, I don't think you'll ever fully retire.
Can't.
But like being able to have that. So I think that's one of the biggest attributes is having that expertise and skill level. Because I feel like real estate, mortgage rates, all of that is such a huge piece that's embedded into our lives, especially now we're growing older, we're in our 30s. So that's the biggest attribute. I think the best part is it's just being able to, I know like being flexible is one thing, but that also works as a huge benefit as well. Because if my job is I have to be working during certain hours. But if I need him to go and grab something or this, again, the flexibility, there's pros and cons to it, right? Being able to have him do like those types of things. Or if I need him to like say, like, hey, can you stick around a bit? Like he doesn't necessarily have someone where he reports to, being able to have, and that's a huge, I think, asset to be able to say like, okay, I need you to go run around and pick up a couple things, drop a couple things off. He can do that. Obviously, I think that's a huge thing. Like, I don't want to say, like, I think it's such a, I don't want to say like financials because I think that's, I don't know. I don't look at it like that in that sense. I think it's more so what we can do to
offer each other
to enhance our own lives in the sense of like the day-to-days more so.
Well, I think this is the greatest formula that people like could get into is when you have an entrepreneur and a salaried person. Yeah. Especially a salaried person with benefits, because for the longest time we as realtors did not have benefits. Yeah. And I never got a massage covered until like a year ago because we had to get married before I got the benefits.
Right.
And that to me was a very like wild concept of thinking of like, what, I don't have to pay for a massage or like chiro or all these things. It's just
dentist,
covered. Dentist,
eye care.
I was like, this is crazy, right? So we have a good gig going where I have the flexibility. The earning potential is as hard as you want to work, and she's got the stability of a job that is relatively, I would say, pretty secure.
Yep.
And the benefits that come with that help supplement the craziness of what my life looks like.
Yep.
And the two combined make a really good synergy of how to build a future.
So this actually like moves into the next topic.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy you guys brought it to this. Okay. So Mark on I think it was the last podcast mentioned something about how you guys worked together at one point.
I don't know this question. I don't remember saying this. So
did you not? Did you not? Okay.
We've never worked together.
Okay. I'm going to rewatch that old episode.
But work together in what sense? Like,
that's what my question was.
Oh.
Because you said, we worked together once. And then you said, no, she's got a story. I'm not even going to get into it.
Maybe it was working together on buying a property.
I don't know. Maybe it could have been.
I'm not going to dox where you work. I'm not going to say where you work for a living, but I thought you worked in one department that would have benefited me quite a bit in real estate. And then I found out you don't work in that department. Or the department you're doing is not responsible for what I was looking for. And that's the only crossover I can think of.
So you've never had any type of profession. There was never like a professional like crossover of any kind.
No, but her line of work does cover a lot of the stuff I do, and people think, oh, you must have all this information. And I'm like, this girl's a locked key. She does not say nothing about work. I'll bring something up like, oh, did you know this? She's like, yeah, like 6 months ago. I'm like, you couldn't tell me? She's like, no, I couldn't. So
like the one thing I will say, like when we do talk about certain matters, I think it gives him, or I'll send him a link to a website.
Yeah.
And it provides him like, oh my gosh, like I would have never found this information. But I'm like, oh, but it's on the World Wide Web.
Yeah. She just is really good at finding it quicker than I could.
Yeah. And I think just having, again, maybe that's a piece that I bring for him, where it also helps him have a better understanding of other issues and topic matters. But yeah, I don't think our worlds have ever crossed over.
No.
So, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we worked together when we bought our place.
Yes.
Yeah.
We could talk about that. I think
that's
a good
something
segue.
that I definitely want to get into.
Yeah.
Because so one thing about you guys is that you live in a very specific style of home.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it is, for those that don't know, I won't say an address, but
Yeah, don't dox us.
it's an open style hard loft type
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And that's such a specific choice.
Yeah.
Because there are, walls are limited.
Yeah.
Everything is very open.
Yeah.
They are.
And I'll say if I'm shopping for myself, walls are going to be a necessity.
Are you a heavy snorer?
Yeah.
Are you really?
I never was before, but I don't know what happened over the last year or two.
Yeah.
It's been hitting home lately.
Okay.
I get the elbows and the nudges every once in a while these days.
I get that. I yell at myself. I have night terrors.
Oh man. I'm not gonna out Molly on this. Actually, maybe I will. So when Molly gets extremely exhausted, she works a lot.
Yeah.
When she gets, and for those that don't know, she did firefighting school recently.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, by the way,
kudos to
for
Molly.
like a female, like that is pretty badass.
All the power to her. Yeah, it was, and it was a grueling school process that she went through, and she left every day completely exhausted. She was I think she fell asleep by 8 o'clock most nights. But when she gets really tired, when she sleeps, she ends up speaking in the middle of the night, and sometimes it's either the creepiest thing in the world or the funniest thing in the world, depending on what she says. There's been moments when I've woken up in the middle of the night and she's just been like.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's all that happens. She goes back to sleep. One time she got up so when she was in firefighter school, she got up on her elbow and she was like, "Are you going back in there?" And I woke up, I got so startled. I look up and I was like, and then for about 10 minutes after, we were both just eyes closed, just laughing.
That is so funny.
So walls are important.
So walls are
Walls are
important.
important.
Yeah, sorry, I got carried away.
It's okay.
This is the most interesting story to me. So yeah, walls are important. So you guys shop for a house. You went from you guys lived in the last place together too, right?
No,
Not really.
No. So in a pre-COVID world, the plan was,
Which was such a bad plan.
which
on
was
my
such a
behalf.
bad plan.
The two of us were going to try to live in 575 square feet.
Yes, in
Right.
his old condo.
Which you sold.
Yes, and that's how you guys met. That's your origin story. But yeah, that was the plan originally. We said, okay, for the first couple months, we'll live at Mark's condo.
I was like, for the first couple years, we're good. We can live here.
And we think back to that now and you're just like, what were mainly you, but how did I agree to this? Thinking
I don't know.
it would not have worked.
No.
Not closet space, personal space, everything.
Taking a phone call would have been a disaster. I would have to walk in the hall. It just
Right,
would
yeah.
have been so tough.
100%. So yeah, so no, we did not live together. But when we were house hunting, I remember we had started, I would say townhouses.
Yeah.
We started at townhouses, and the ones we were looking at were, I think because of COVID and we had to delay our wedding multiple times, it felt like in a sense, we were almost a little bit stuck in time. We're just okay, it's not like we felt complacent with each other, but I think because of everything happening in the world and things not necessarily moving forward, you couldn't travel, we couldn't get married, you couldn't do all these things. You felt stuck. And I remember saying to him, I think we need to buy a place now. I think that's
It's a step forward.
It's the next step forward for us, for our relationship, all of that. So I remember we started looking at townhouses because for us at the time, we were okay, going a semi or detached, we're just we don't want to spend that much. We don't want that to be our starting home because a lot of the homes, you guys see it, you buy a semi, you buy a detached, you got to gut the whole thing. That's a couple $100,000 on top of what you've paid us on the purchase price. Yep. So we said, okay, let's try and find a townhouse.
And let's keep in mind, this was the uncertainty of COVID.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had half paid for a wedding. I wasn't sure I was even going to have, if I was going to lose all that money.
And again, the uncertainty for, I think, any realtor
of income. So I was I don't want to get into a detached right now. I don't know what next year is going to look like.
Yeah.
We still have this massive wedding to deal with, plus life in general and all of our other commitments. Let's be smart about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it was easy compromise. We weren't really stuck up on it.
No, we weren't. And it's just realistically also on top of all of these major big expenses coming forward in the next months, years, we didn't know. Do we want our monthlies also to swallow us?
Monthlies are a big thing that we're very
on top of.
Yeah. So we looked at the townhouses, and all the townhouses we were looking at, I think it seemed okay, this is the closest thing to a house that we could buy.
It was a good in between.
Yeah. And then I'm just these are so cookie cutter.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think condos now offer something that's new, that's updated, that's functional. It's cookie cutter for a reason, right? Because it works.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, these are so cookie cutter. I'm like, I don't know if we want that as our first place. And I remember we have a few friends that actually live in our loft, not in our loft, but in our building.
It's not gotten that bad yet.
I know.
We're not renting rooms out
we
yet.
did joke with our friend that's in here watching us that if
We'd rent him a room, yeah.
we rent him a room under the stairs because
that place is spacious too. Yeah.
Yeah.
because him and Mark were very close. They actually lived
Above each other.
Yeah.
So
Place,
we would
yeah.
always joke that there will always be space for him to join us at any
Which
point.
he's not
in time.
taking up on.
No,
so.
he has it. He has it.
He runs the other way when we ask him that. But we digress.
Long story short, because I'm rambling, on Canada's Day, you went for a run.
I went for a run. So let me say a bit of a backstory there.
Yeah.
So not get too deep into it, but my grandfather had us move seniors home. So he used to be downtown and I had to move him closer to me up by Dufferin and Lawrence.
Yeah.
And I was living at Dufferin and Lawrence at Treviso. It was Canada Day. I went for my morning run and we were kind of scattered. We were looking in like the McPherson, Yorkville area, some downtown locations, St. Clair maybe even.
Yeah, the Casa Loma, St. Clair, all of that.
We were kind of looking there. We wanted to be in a place that was a good balance for her mom and my parents and work and everything else. I'm going for this run and it hits me like crystal clear. I'm like, I can't leave my grandfather. I'm his essential caregiver. I can't go too far from him. I need to be somewhere relatively close and near to him. Whatever, just a thought on my run. I go back to the condo. She's there. I think he had breakfast ready for me or something like that. We're getting ready to go to do some Canada Day stuff. And I get a notification, like the Realm app on my phone says, this property came up at the building that we now live in. And I'm like, this is so weird. Nobody drops a property on the market on Canada Day.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got nothing to do. You want to go check it out? She's like, wow, what the hell? Not really where we envision ourselves, but let's see it.
Yeah, like we looked at the photos. Like photos look beautiful.
Photos look beautiful. Like we weren't looking in that building per se at all.
No, we weren't.
Right?
We did, granted, look at one unit. I think maybe
pre-COVID.
Yeah. So I guess like 2 years before, but then
I was selling a listing and the seller said, if you guys want it for yourself, take a look at it. Maybe you might want this. And we were like, it's okay, but it wasn't really our thing.
yeah, we were just like, and I don't think we were necessarily there yet either.
ready, yeah.
So it was just like, it was great to look at and kind of start the process, but we weren't there yet.
This was in the
same building.
Yeah, same building.
So I ended up selling this unit that I'm referring to for my client. But I was like, you know what? Yeah, I know you want to look for a place. Let's check it out. It just wasn't right. So Canada Day, 2 years later, we go into the space. And when you know.
Yeah.
And we kind of walked in there and we both looked at each other and we're like, huh. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I like this place. And she's like, this could work, which I was really shocked by.
Yeah.
Because you take a while to make a decision.
I am very indecisive.
Yeah. So like I always return Christmas gifts for her, the ones she tells me to get.
Yeah.
Because she's decided by Christmas comes around that it's not the right one. So I kind of felt like it would be a bit of a process to narrow it down and get the right one. And we both kind of said, yeah, this just we think this is right.
Yeah, I think walking in, I remember seeing the windows. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much natural light. I remember that was the first thing I saw.
13-foot ceilings.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I never thought I would live in a loft. It just wasn't. It is like you said, it's very specific. But I remember going and we're like, okay, this is like really beautiful. They had renovated the kitchen completely, like head to toe.
They took a wall down.
They took a wall down. Yeah.
We had 2 parking spots. That was also
2 parking spots. Right. They had a walk-in closet.
Yeah. So she loves her. We call her the getting ready room. So she has an entire room that can house all of hers, which is almost the size of the condo that I sold. Hence why we know it just wouldn't work. Thank God COVID happened the way it did. So we did that. It was a bidding war.
Yes.
And I had set a budget. It was a healthy budget, I thought, based on the comps.
Yeah, we went to go see it once. And then on a Monday, we went to go see it again with my mom.
And a bully offer came in.
Right.
So we got thrown off because we weren't expecting to. And I'm like, whatever, if you want to do it, this is the budget. And she agreed. She's like, yeah, that sounds like a very fair price to pay. Within the first round, our budget was gone.
Yeah. Mark is like, so we came back to the office here. My mom and I are like, pretty cool as cucumbers.
They're eating sushi. They're having cookies. They're talking. I'm sweating. My what's off. I'm like, oh, this is so stressful. This is so stressful. And they're like, what's the big deal? It's no big deal.
And this was the first place we put an offer on. So I'm just like, you know what? You walk in and I'm just like, if we don't get it, don't like, I've always like, and again, you see all the TV shows, $1 Million Listens, like all of those things, like don't fall in love with it. Don't move yourself in.
Yeah. I was so moved in because I know I wouldn't find 2 parking spots. I wouldn't find the storage space, the closet, the overall coolness factor. That was a diamond in the rough.
It absolutely
I couldn't
was.
go to 20 other condos and get something close to it. Like it's a one of one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, and there's some other details. I was selling another loft. Like it was a complicated deal to put together at the time.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of pressure to get it done. And I was displaying that pressure in my facial features and I was sweating. And I remember looking at the laptop where I was working on and it was just covered in my fingerprints of sweat. Very, very, very nervous. And they were super calm.
Yeah.
Which I needed.
Yeah. That's your yin to your yang.
Very much.
Yeah. I can absolutely see that energy needed.
I could negotiate for anyone in the world but myself. And it's a thing. It's like, it's a common thing. You cannot negotiate for yourself. It's so hard because you're not third partying it. You're in it. And then you have all these factors that you're taking into.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think it's always difficult. Anything for yourself, it's because you're like, it is like our wedding. I always say to Mark, will be the biggest, most expensive thing we ever throw. A house is going to be the biggest, most expensive purchase you're ever going to make.
We had a lot of bigs in a short period of time.
We absolutely did, which is wild when you think, but it's like, it is going to be the biggest purchase you ever make. And it's one of those things where you're like, you want to make, like, am I making the right decision? That's when I'm like, okay, I always say, like, if something is meant to be, it will be.
And I could confidently say I have 0 regrets in that.
No, I have no regrets either.
Every morning I wake up very happy that we bought it. I think currently is the best choice for us.
Yeah. There was one other place. We both think about this place.
Yeah. More so for the value of what we could have gotten it for and what it's worth today.
Yeah. It was at the beginning and it was actually a freehold townhouse.
Freehold townhome.
Right.
Downtown.
Yeah. It was.
On Sheridan?
No, Florence.
Florence, off of Sheridan.
Yeah. It's like Dufferin between Queen and Dundas on a side street.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom she was so excited because she was just like, oh,
it's close to her.
It was close to her. And she was like, oh, there's parks nearby. There's all these different things. And I remember I'm just like, and it was great. There was a basement, the main floor.
Second floor with 2 bedrooms.
Second floor. And then another floor was, full floor was the full primary, and as well as a rooftop.
Rooftop terrace, yeah.
But it was a lot of stairs.
It was a lot of stairs.
Right.
Yeah. And that was one thing. Again, also 2 parking spaces, which were right outside, which was fantastic. It was modern, but
so it wasn't a gut or anything like that.
No.
It was a move-in ready.
Yeah,
no, completely move-in ready.
Stunning. Good space, good size, good finishes, great location. And the price, it was in one of the COVID lulls. So like the guy couldn't sell it. And he told me point blank, he's like, I know I can get an extra like $150K for this when the market picks up. And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
But
it was literally, I want to say like maybe like October, November 2020.
Yeah.
It was like
first year of COVID.
First year of COVID.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it kind of checked all the boxes. And I remember we were just like, okay, like, and that was the one place where I go back and think about. None of the other places I think about where I'm just like, this was a place we could have grown into. But at the same time, would we still love it when we're growing a family, like all of that?
Stairs, our parents. And also like, I don't want to plateau and be like, okay, we would have spent a bit more on that place, but we would have been good there for 10 years all day.
Right.
I do like the tension of like, we can't live in our place forever. We have to get motivated.
It pushes you to I totally see that.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
So, okay, I'm surprised. I'm so surprised that you only put an offer in on one place. Like you were only really gunned for one place.
And you called our mortgage broker. Like, I remember you were on the phone with him, just be like, can I go to this number? Can I go? And he's like, yes, go.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing with us is we are very 2 different. We live in 2 different circles of risk tolerance.
Yeah.
Her and I.
Yes.
Who's more? Wait, who's more? Okay.
I'm reckless.
He is reckless. Not reckless, but you are definitely.
Not reckless. I'm responsibly reckless.
Yeah, he's a lot more risk adverse.
Yeah, like I'll do my research. I'll kind of look at the whole scenario and make a decision based on facts that I think are true.
Yeah.
Whereas Age will want to really double, triple, quadruple check.
Right.
And I need that in my life. It's very important that I have her to like ground me a little bit and not let me
just run.
I want to see stats from the last 5 to 10 years outlining exactly what I'm getting into. And like even we did this with our financial.
Our budget?
No, what is
Investing?
Yeah, or investing.
Oh, yeah.
Where like, and Mark has recently moved over to the same guy my mom and I use. And it was just like, I want everything outlined just to make sure. And he's in a lot more, I guess, not risky.
I didn't think twice. I'm like, here's the money.
Yeah. Where I'm just like, I want to have all of the information because, and it's not that like he values money less than I do. I'm just like, I want to know exactly what it's going into and how it's performing, how it's performed in the past.
Which is important. That's not things that we should discount.
Yeah.
My belief is just we have very little control over things. So why do I need to overload with all this past information that makes no representation to the future?
Right.
What will be will be. Don't get me wrong. Don't put it in a super risky stock, but you can't control where the market's going to go in a lot of ways. And just being in the market is better than trying to time the market.
Right.
So for me, it was more like, just go, bud.
It makes a lot of sense. That like back and forth between you, that makes a ton of sense.
Which is, you need that. Like you need someone different from you to grow.
Yeah.
Both of us need this because you've become a lot, like when we first met, I often joke that her style of homes was very like traditional. How would you describe it?
Like I remember, like I always said to him, like, I want a custom home, but in a very traditional sense, like wainscoting, like very like not gaudy as well,
Not
but
gaudy, not old school. I don't know what the right terminology is.
but like more traditional. Like now
yeah.
I'm just like, okay,
Now we're wild.
like I'm open to more things. I'm definitely open to more things. And like, again, he would go 100% variable. I would go 100% fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I want and like that predictability and certainty versus the uncertainty. But at the same time, it's also it's one of those things, it's slower growth versus him, like he could hit a spike and I'm just like here, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. Leaps of faith.
But I'm fine with because I'm just like, I know
That's
I'm
your
not
comfort level.
100%. And I think it's growing a bit, but I'm definitely a lot more conservative.
No, but you still are somewhat conservative financially speaking, but you're definitely more open to some of the more wilder design choices and ideas and housing styles. And like, you wouldn't look at a modern house when we first started dating. It was almost like, that's just not what you're looking for. Now you're very much like, oh, look at this cool design. Like I'll be like, oh, damn, I like that. That is very much like a style that I resonate with and she's more resonating with as well. But important to have that tension in terms of differences because it's as much
and it gives another perspective as well, where it might not be something, it's not that I didn't like it. It may not have just been something I thought about.
aware of, yeah.
And it's one of those things, I think it complements us in different ways. Because I think it's important to be different, but in a good sense where he's going to bring a perspective I have not thought about and I'll
Vice
bring a
versa.
perspective, same thing that he's never thought about. You're thinking about like, oh, that's actually something like I really like, or like hard no.
It pulls you both out of your comfort zones.
100%.
Yeah, and life is
and that's
all
how you
about
grow.
Getting out of it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pushing out of the comfort zone.
Okay, we're on the budget topic, so I'm going to do a little gear change here.
Yeah.
Age, you are the mastermind of the budget, and as this podcast continues, I'm realizing more and more that it's all suiting.
I've never had a budget in my life. I don't know budgets. I don't have budgets. I don't believe in budgets. I think that restricts you. You got to be always out there growing until I'm at age. And I'm
and it's
glad.
not that we have a budget. It's we can
We have a guideline.
a guideline that
Yeah.
you monitor your spending.
Yeah.
Like we've never, and we're very lucky. We've never been in this position where we're like, oh, we can't buy that. We've never had that. But at the same,
Well, I don't have a Ferrari.
sorry, I'm so sorry. I've held you back all these years. But it's one of those things where I think it's just knowing, okay, what is practical for your life. Like I enjoy cooking. So it's one of those things. We still eat out, but we definitely, when we were dating, I would say we ate out all of the time.
I never cooked at home. You
Shutting
saw
down,
the
we're shutting
stove.
down restaurants, man.
The stove that your clients bought was like used twice, and she probably was the 2 times that was used. I didn't cook. For efficiency purposes, I'm on the road. I would try to eat healthy-ish. Like I wouldn't eat at fast food places, but very rarely would I eat at home. Maybe I'd have a breakfast, possibly a lunch, but never a dinner.
Yeah.
And age has really been able to help me eat a lot cleaner and a lot better. And it's just a good all-around experience.
Yeah, and I think that's also part of the bachelor lifestyle. Yeah. I remember I would joke with him. He would go to Costco. He would buy a pack of chicken wings or like chicken breasts. He would take the entire pack, pop it in the freezer. I'm like, how do you expect to cook this?
Do a cook-off. One big shawarma spit.
One big run. Yeah.
I'm like, you got to take it out. You got to divide it. Like,
And then, like,
you got to do these things.
It's such a waste of time. Like, why would I waste my time doing that? That's
And I'm like, the intention is there. It's good. But then I'm just like, the execution, I'm like, it was missing. But again, it's one of those things for him. It just didn't suit his lifestyle. And that's like, or it's a bachelor or bachelorette lifestyle, or if you're just on the road all the time where you don't have, and like nowadays, like, I don't know, like sometimes it could even be cheaper to go out to eat, or you want to treat yourself, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So like
More of an occasion.
absolutely. Yeah. So yeah. And so that's why I said, like, we don't necessarily have a budget, but at the same time, I think we're very practical in
we're aware
our
of our
expenses.
spending.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like we know what is like, okay, we underspent this month, or we're at kind of where our typical par is, what we're spending, or we've blown it out of the water type of thing.
Right.
So
there's no, wait, is there a spreadsheet or anything?
She
there is a
definitely
spreadsheet.
has a
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
There absolutely is a
There's a
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet.
Yeah. And I break it down kind of like, I've done this like even before us. I have it broken down like, okay, what is my salary? What are my mortgage payments? What are my property taxes? Like, but literally broken down like line by line items but that's how I function.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's salaried. And that's a very prudent thing that a salaried person should be doing. Right? Knowing that I'm going to make X amount every year. There is no, I sold 2 other places and there's this nice bonus. No.
Yeah.
So how do I live off of this and not above and beyond it? And from day one, I knew she was very financially savvy with a lot of her things.
Yeah. And I think my mom and my dad always instilled that with me at a very, very young age, because at the same time, if you're not in control of your finances,
it will control you.
It will control you. And if you want to accept it or not, money makes the world go round. If you don't have money, like, you have to be able to, when you do get your check every 2 weeks, or for you guys, when you close a deal, you have to say, okay, what am I going to put this in? Do I have anything that's outstanding? Mm-hmm. Is this an excess? Like, can I go out and buy myself something? Because I do like to go out and buy myself nice things. Like, I do appreciate a new designer bag, a pair of shoes, jewelry, all of that. I do. Like, I don't like hold back, but at the same time, I think in a sense I've also matured in ways where I'm like, hey, buy quality over quantity, where again, like, something is going to last you 10 years, where I know people joke about this online. It's like girl math, where you're buying something, you're like, oh, but it's like, I know it's a joke, but it's like, you also like, hey, if you're going to buy a pair of shoes, but you know you're going to have these shoes for the next 5 or 10 years, it's like, okay, cost per wear.
How much per year?
Yeah. Versus like you buy something that's a little, and I get it. Like, everyone's at a different point in time, but I think once you have the opportunity to be able to do that, I think your mindset changes in a lot of way, where you're just like, yes, this is going to be a bit of a splurge. But at the same time, I think, at least this is the way I function, I will take more care of that particular item versus just throwing it around and whatnot. But
well, I think you're able to do that because you know what you have to spend on that type of stuff.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, knowing where you can splurge instead of just splurging.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This doesn't hurt later.
Racking up the credit card.
Yeah. And like, I think knowing, okay, this is how much I have, and then you break it down, and obviously you can use Excel or whatever to do that, but break down your expenses. And I do it literally by category, like either, okay, your parking expenses, your clothing, your beauty, your groceries, your travel, like everything broken down. And then you also see like gifts, like, because I also have a lot of friends with a lot of little kids where you're always like constantly buying for. It's one of those things where I think also having an understanding, seeing like, where is my money going every month, and having a better understanding, like, do I need to pull back a little bit from here? Yeah. Do I have a little bit more flexibility? And then seeing, okay, at the end of the month, I had excess X amount, and just saying, okay, now I can put that automatically into my savings. And I think another piece is like, as soon as you can in life, do put your money into savings. Yeah. And I think that's like, for me, like every 2 weeks, I automatically have money. It's so easy to set up with your bank. Automatically, it's withdrawn and it goes into your savings account. And then you can, once you have, I think, a decent amount of money, you can put it into a TFSA I think should be automatic, but then putting it into a GIC where especially the last couple of years and still right now, the rates with the banks are quite generous.
This Dave Ramsey over here. Dave Ramsey's in the building.
No, second guess.
Fifth guess. Dave Ramsey. Adriana Ramsey.
But it's those simple things where it's just, I think you see ads all the time. It's not public knowledge. Like these are things where you see the banks, like certain banks are offering 5.5 or even at one point it was like 6.25 where it's a safe investment where you're guaranteed to grow.
1 year, you lock it in.
Yeah. It's very common sense. So like why wouldn't you do that?
It's making the right decisions, right? Like the money's there. You're either going to spend it to a negative or invest it and try to make a positive out of it, right? Yeah.
And it's to your benefit.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like when you also have another opportunity to be able to be a little bit more risky, then you look at stocks, bonds, all of that stuff, like putting money in for your RSPs, RESPs, like all these things, like for your, not necessarily us, like neither of us are planning ever going back to school, but again, for future, like for your own family, like building those things up, right?
Yeah, it's a habit. It's building those habits.
It's absolutely a habit. And I think again, I was very lucky where my mom and my dad instilled that in me in a very young age. But if not, like knowing now, okay, like I have some money, let's put that in so we can build it towards our future, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Just before we got married, because we never had the financial talk, like we weren't ready to get married at our first wedding day, in my opinion.
I think we thought we were. Like we went to, oh my gosh, what was it? The weekend away.
Oh, the church retreat.
Yeah. So when you get married in the Catholic Church, you got to either do, I think it's like 8 weeks once.
Whatever. We went to Mississauga.
Yeah. So we went to this retreat. It was a weekend. It was like almost like a crash course. And one of the things was they brought in a financial planner. I remember saying to him like, "Oh, that's really good." He's like, "Oh, we're good. Don't worry about that. We have already thought about all of this stuff."
Because I don't budget. I just make money and invest it, and that's my budget. That's what I do. It's simple. And she's like, "Well, you have to show me your spreadsheet." I'm like, there's no spreadsheet. I'm not like that. I don't function well like that. But I was very impressed when she showed me her spreadsheet because there was multiple tabs at the bottom where she was able to be like, this is what I make. This is my expense spreadsheet. This is my savings. This is my investments. I was like, what the heck?
His eyes got very big. And he's like, at first he was just like, we don't need that. And then after I showed it to him, he's like, and then his eyes were like, whoa.
Well, because if you can track it, it's a lot easier to be efficient with it.
Well, I mean, even makes sense. Like it's blowing my mind that you do this with like with a salary and a full-time job, because like as realtors, like, yeah, your income's everywhere. So like knowing what you did per year, you can start gauging like, how do I do it better? And like move yourself like that. But to do that with a full-time job that you have like consistent paycheck and things like that, it's impressive.
Habits are so important. And that's your good habit.
Good habit. Absolutely.
Good habits.
Okay, we got one more. What?
Yeah.
Okay,
we got to wrap it up soon, but we got one more question.
Okay, so we're gonna talk. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep this last one light then.
You could do that last question and then the plus one.
All right.
Yeah, I know what you want to get to. So I'll let you.
I love how you guys like read each other's minds.
Oh, we are one. We have a calendar.
Insane. All right, so you, I hear, are the social media guru.
Oh my gosh.
Behind the scenes. And I'm exposing some secrets.
No, a lot of BTS behind the scenes. I want to reveal a little. It's not really a secret, but something you might notice on our Instagram is for the last 2-3 years.
More.
4?
Maybe.
Okay, 3-4 years. We have the grid. The Instagram's called the grid.
Yeah.
And she does not want me to break the grid. And breaking the grid is on one column. If you look on our Instagram page, we have all of our solds, lease, listings, all on the same line.
Okay.
And that's strategically done. So even when we post a blog, a podcast episode, I have to make sure I schedule it properly so it keeps in the same line. And this was my wife's doing.
Otherwise, I'll get a very angry phone call.
Oh, it's like something emergency. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm at the office. Why? You broke the grid. Okay,
I'm like, why did you do that?
No, but delete it first and then call me back. I'm like, oh, so that's why sometimes you see me delete things. I'm like, this friggin' grid. And like, I broke the grid purposely a couple months back and I felt it didn't look right. I'm like, you know what? I got to put the grid back.
She's instilled it in you.
The habit is formed, right? The grid's got to be kept. So she's the motivation for a lot of our.
100%. Yeah. And kudos because Instagram, any social media stuff, it's so hard to keep up with. Yeah. So like if you have an eye for it, like Is it something that you have like when you see it? Is it just something that bugs you? Like you need to like you need to
Oh,
fix it?
absolutely.
She's a
Like my
type.
skin crawls.
Yeah. We're not even gonna get too deep into it, but there was a whole hashtag era of our life where she would write all the hashtags for the post.
Oh, get out of here.
And if I didn't copy and paste those hashtags into the post, I was not eating dinner that night. It's like, why did you use my hashtags? I'm like, I didn't think about it. Or like hashtags don't work is my, just put it in, just do it. And they work, they did work.
Yeah.
But you know, I really appreciate that I have a partner who cares enough to want to have our back.
Have the input. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
It's annoying, but I love it.
I think it's one of those things where it is your guys' baby, but at the same time, I think it's one of those things where I think it is important as a partner to care. At least in my eyes, that's how I justify it to myself.
It's definitely welcome.
But it's always good to also have an extra, I think, set of eyes, different perspective. And it's one of those things where I think now, ever since going on, I would say almost a year and a half. No, not a year and a half. Well, when was your guys' anniversary? September?
Yeah.
September. So
Year and 3 months.
yeah, you can see how much growth, because social media is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either if it's like nowadays, like you guys haven't gone this route, but like you have TikTok actually.
A little bit.
Yeah, we dabble in it.
Yeah.
But it's like the amount of effort, research, time, like that goes into it is enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many people, like that is their job, is social media. So I think it's one of those things where I know you guys also have so much important things, either if it's servicing your clients, taking people out,
Right.
all of these different things, and doing the work that people never see
Right.
as well, is one of those things where you guys have established so many good systems. I think that's my like little way of contributing, liked or not. I think it's just, again, it's like there's an extra set of eyes where, yeah,
No, and I think it is welcome because like there's so many hats that we wear in general, like on a day-to-day basis. So any extra set of eyes that can help us like not fall through the cracks in a certain area, I think is
welcomed.
And you guys do an amazing job with it. I think there's so many people that you see, and it is very cringe. And so I think you guys do a
Don't be starting realtor beefs.
I'm not saying I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it could be anyone in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying in general, like there's some people, like you see these either, and not even necessarily just realtors, but you see people that are just like, it's just not, it doesn't suit them or it doesn't fit them.
Yeah.
Or if it's an age thing where they're in their like 60s trying to do TikToks. And I get it. Everyone's trying to evolve with the times, with the different social media platforms. But I think you guys have stayed so true to yourselves, which also I think speaks volumes because you see the natural chemistry between you guys, which also translates to online, which you see on your YouTube, you see on your Spotify, you see on Instagram, where it just meshes so well. So my 2 cents is very tiny, but you guys are the ones doing all the heavy lifting.
No, it's definitely, well, you get a lot of kudos because Joey does a lot of the album art and a lot of the editing of the
personal
shows.
thank you for correcting my spelling on.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. She's better than Microsoft Word. Joey's, I'm not gonna say which episode, but there's an episode that's still wrong that she wants us to correct, but it would require
way back when
significant. We can't correct it, unfortunately, at this point. But she reminds me of it.
I fire through them whenever I'm typing the titles out. I just fire through it. And I'm like,
But the thing is, you guys you have so much going.
Yeah, this is a bootstrap business, right? We're very 100%. Much like, it's just us. We don't have a marketing team. We record out of someone's office. We're just trying to make it work with as minimal stuff as possible. So we sometimes rush through it, but it's always good that you're there to kind
100%.
of be the last checkpoint to make sure like, hey guys, you missed something, fix it. And we always welcome it because we want to look as polished and professional as possible. So.
Absolutely. And you guys do an amazing job at that. But there's always, no matter how perfect an operation runs, there's always going to be a glitch here and there.
For sure.
So
we're getting into Alex Wong time of this podcast, so we can't go much longer. All right. But there is one burning question.
It's a finale question that has been eating me alive.
Oh my God.
Every time your name gets brought up on this podcast, it is paired with Pookie Bear.
Oh my God.
Is there a story behind Pookie Bear
Yeah, it's not a deep one, but there is a story.
You should have brought the sign.
Oh, the sign.
There was a sign
from
for
our
The
wedding.
wedding.
Oh, okay.
When the
'Cause we
bottle
did the club
service
theme
came out.
to go with how we met. So when the robot came out, for those that don't know, we had a robot at the wedding.
Best wedding I've ever
She
been
didn't know about the robot.
No, I think we went outside for the fireworks. And
to. You didn't know about the robot?
No.
No, that was Mark's little
So
surprise.
fireworks was something I was dead set against because I'm like, I'm not blowing up my money. Like, legit, you're blowing up your money. But then COVID happened and a lot of shit went down in my life. And I'm like, we're blowing up the money. I don't care. I want everyone to I really wanted that night to be a celebration of everyone, of all that we went through and of all the BS that life brought us. And I was like, I want to do something even more extreme. She always says I'm super extreme. So I was like, can I hire a robot to come out and like blow smoke cannons and all that stuff? And lo and behold, there's actually a very competitive market for robots out there. There's 4 companies in Toronto that provide this service. And get you prices if you're interested. So I called them up. The first robot was a jerk, so I didn't work with that robot. The second one was fantastic. We exchanged cigars. They were a really nice robot. Yeah. And still have their contact info. So after the fireworks, I'm like, I got another surprise for you inside. I wanted to kind of preface with it. And we knew that we were going to be doing like a club theme because we met in a club.
Yeah.
So, the bottle service, we wanted to have that for our guests. She's like, I know about that. I'm like, no, you don't know about this. And then lo and behold, the robot walks in. It was like a 12, 15 foot robot.
It was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have like 14 videos.
I thought it was money well spent.
No,
I enjoyed the
it was
robot.
definitely added to the moment. And I think everyone enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, and
it was fun. It was really fun.
It was for the kids. Like there was a lot of kids at our wedding, and I wanted them to have like just a magical night of like.
It was 100%, and I'll tell you, like the conversation was. You guys had one of the best weddings I've been to in general. But going out to do the fireworks run and then coming back in to see the robot, there was that moment when it was just like, where am I right now?
Cirque du Soleil. So Pookie Bear was also a theme of the wedding night. So we had the Pookie Bear Spritz, which was...
our wedding planners kept saying to us, like, do little things that are personal to you guys to make it even more special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so Pookie Bear was a name that you got. Do you remember where that name was given to you?
Where? No, but I know what it came from.
Okay, you say where it came from. I'll say where I gave it to you.
Pocky.
Pocky. So Pocky sticks
Okay.
are an Asian treat
Yeah, I think it's a Japanese
brand.
So they have like
Wafer sticks.
no, it's almost like almost like a not a pretzel, but like
A pretzel-esque material.
yeah.
Okay.
It's so they have like one that's called Pritz, which is like a salty one. They have the Pocky ones, which is like dipped in like chocolate, and then there's one that's dipped in strawberry,
matcha
all the
green tea.
different like flavors. So like it came from there. That I knew.
Yeah, so I don't know why I made the transition from Pocky Stick to Pookie Bear. Could have been just a slip of words. I'm like, you know what? You're Pookie Bear from now on. Because funny enough, this kind of ties together. You know carapainha?
Yeah.
We had carapainhas in Curacao.
Yes, me and my girlfriend, we were double fisting on the beach, having the time of our lives, while our boyfriends at the time were judging us like, oh, those girls are going to feel it tomorrow.
Anyhow, Curacao, I would call Kukarask. I don't know where I got the name Kukarask from. So sometimes I'll mix my words up. So Pookie Bear was Pokey Sticks, Pookie, Pocky, Pookie. And so Ryan and Brenda, again, our Michelin star friends, brought us these sticks back from Japan. I think Ryan was in Japan at the time. And we were at the first rental house that I had. It was still under construction. I was still working on it. You were there, and I gave it to her, and she was like, oh, you like Pocky sticks or Pookie sticks? I don't know. I think I call them Pookie sticks and then Pookie Bear. And then she would call me Love Bug. I'm like, why you call me Love Bug? I'm not a bug. So now you call me
Love Diamond.
Diamond's better than a bug.
But that is the origin story
of Pookie Bear.
And I think now when I think about it, I think you probably thought they were called Pookie sticks and not Pocky sticks.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So it was a slip of the tongue, then another slip.
Yeah, just multiple slips of the tongue.
100%.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for Joey before?
No, I think just a compliment. I've said this to you guys. I think you guys the chemistry is so good.
Thank you.
And you've definitely been a huge asset to Mark and
To our
Toronto
lives.
Livings.
Definitely Joey has,
So
Appreciate that.
yes, it's your energy and your
work ethic.
Your work ethic is infectious.
Yeah.
And I hope you never lose that because
And never leave.
because we will find you.
We will find you. We like the balance our life has right now. So it's very
If we don't find you, we'll find Molly.
Yeah, we'll get Molly C in the game.
Yeah.
Francis V might be a decent Joey substitution.
No one can replace
Francis
Joey.
V. She's really nice.
I know, but no one can replace Joey.
We DM each other all the time.
Oh my God.
Although she hates Mars Diner.
I know. She's throwing shade at Mars Diner. I don't know what's wrong with her.
Yeah, she doesn't like Mars
She's
Diner.
absolutely wrong. She loves the beans from Mars Diner.
She loves the beans?
She loves the beans.
Okay, between now and December 31st, we're going to do a double date and we're going to go to Mars Diner because I'm like dying to have this experience.
I'm holding you to it. Those
We were supposed-
5 or 6 invites that happened on the Christmas
I know,
party.
and I said I got to be at my office in like a few
4 hours.
hours. I'm like, I would love to. Yeah. But between now and end of year, that is happening. And then after in the new year, because right now it's so crazy, we're going to go for like a proper dinner.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a Michelin star though. I see what the year brings us. See where rates go. Couple show notes. Maybe we're gonna take a couple weeks off.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back in the new year. So this is gonna be our last guest of season 1.
Yeah.
I feel honored.
Toronto Living's Real Estate Podcast Show. We're probably gonna have a new name in the new year.
Yeah.
Got to work on that.
We're
It'll
doing a couple
be
changes.
season 2.
Yeah.
It'll be
It's gonna be
called-
called season 2.
I like that.
But there'll be more to the name than season 2. We might have to change our Toronto Living's Real Estate Podcast Show because that doesn't fit on a hat if I want to get merch made.
Got it.
Gotta think of the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Text is going to be way too small to fit that on.
Yeah, no dad hat's no zaddy baddie hat's
No,
gonna
those
fit
are
on
too
that
short,
text.
yeah.
Yeah. Unless we do like a wraparound.
Oh my gosh.
How about bandanas? So we thought about bandanas.
Oh, I like
Yeah, we
that.
can think about it.
I'm into it.
You love your
Headbands.
Guns N' Roses bandana.
I love my bandana. Guns N' Roses. I wear that all the time.
Every time I have a headache, he's like, "Can I put a bandana on you?" I said, "That's gonna do the complete opposit of what you're thinking it's gonna do."
Yeah, it's
I
like
need to
Squeeze
cough.
the blood into
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I'm just like, I need more blood, not like cut it off.
It works for me all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other show notes?
No, I think that's pretty much covers it. Yeah. New name, new music.
New music.
Yeah, that's coming too.
YouTube flagged us.
YouTube is flagging us.
Yeah. Apparently the free song we use is no longer free and they're making money off of it. Therefore we can't use it. So new theme song in the new year.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for season 1. This has been a blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad you were so game to do it on a whim because like this came out of left field. I was
Yeah.
like,
No. Thank you for jumping on last second.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, and I hope to see Molly in this seat next season.
She'll be in this seat. I will be in that seat.
Done.
she'll
As
be
long
on-
as she's in a seat here.
Yeah. No pressure though.
Yeah.
If she's down for it, we'll do it.
But Joey did tell me she kind of did agree to it.
She's in?
Yeah. It was a okay.
Well,
Molly, you can do it.
you can do it. And you did really well on this podcast. I know everyone gets a little bit nervous when like, what the heck are we doing here?
1,000,000%.
You did good.
Yeah, and I think it does feel like a very natural conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously because
your
you're you, but like
Joey's your second husband.
Yes, Joey's my second husband. But just like it flows so easily. And again, that's a compliment to you guys not making your guests. And I think between Renee, between Alex, between Josh,
yeah.
all of the conversations have flowed so easily with everyone. So again, that's a kudos to you guys as well.
Thank you, wife.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Pookie Bear. All right.
All right. Signing off.
Signing off.
All right.
Thanks for listening to the Toronto Living's Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.